The forbidden observation high above Earth. A sleek alien ship hovered silently in orbit. Inside, alien eyes studied glowing screens filled with data, videos, and strange signals. The room was quiet. No one spoke. Even the air felt heavy with confusion. Commander Relth, a high-ranking alien officer, leaned forward in his chair. His long fingers tapped the table slowly. He had seen thousands of worlds, but Earth puzzled him. There are no planetary shields, Relth said. No orbital cannons, no defense satellites, and still, no one dares to attack. Around him, the other officers nodded. Every nearby species had the power to destroy Earth, yet none had even tried. Why? They sent Voryx, a young scout known for his bravery and sometimes his foolishness. He had never failed a mission, and he liked challenges. Voryx smiled as he stood before the commanders. "So you want answers?" he said. "I'll go to Earth. I'll watch the humans. I'll bring back the truth." Relth stared at him for a moment. "Do not speak to them. Do not interfere. Just observe." "Yes, Commander." Voryx's stealth pod slipped through Earth's atmosphere without a sound. He landed near the ruins of what once looked like a military base, now broken and overgrown. He stepped out, scanning the area. "No guards," he whispered. "No defenses, just abandoned concrete and broken metal." But something felt strange. He walked slowly. His translator device picked up human voices nearby. Laughter. Voryx peeked around a corner. There were 3 humans, young ones. Soldiers, maybe. But they weren't training. They were cooking. Yes, cooking. A small fire burned under a metal pot. One human flipped something in a pan. Another leaned back in a chair, sipping a hot drink while watching an explosion go off in the distance. Completely calm. "What is this?" Voryx whispered. "They're having tea during a battle?" The humans laughed louder. One of them pointed at the sky. "That missile missed by 2 kilometers. Amateurs." Voryx ducked back. He activated his recorder. These humans are not reacting with fear. They're joking. They're relaxed, even when danger is close. He moved deeper into the base. Old banners hung from cracked walls, eagles, flags, and words in bold letters. "Never forget." In a dark hallway, he found a locked door. A weak energy signal blinked from inside. He cracked the lock and stepped in. It was a war room. Screens covered the walls. Old screens. Dusty, but still running. Maps, military codes, and audio logs. Message started playing. "Training Session 7, Emergency Evac. If the enemy lands, do not panic. Stick to the plan. Remember, we fight smart, not scared." Voryx narrowed his eyes. They trained, not to fight with fear, but with strategy. Then a file caught his attention. Labeled, Classified, Galactic Response Protocol. He tried to open it, but the screen blinked red. Access denied. His translator beeped. A voice crackled through the air, a child's voice. "Are you lost, mister?" Voryx froze. He turned around slowly. A human girl stood in the doorway. Blonde hair, dirt on her cheeks, but no fear in her eyes. She held a toy in her hand. It was shaped like a small alien skull. "I saw you sneaking," she said. "Are you scared of the humans?" Voryx said nothing. The girl stepped closer, her eyes locked on him. "You should be." She placed the toy skull on the table, turned, and walked away like it was just another normal day. Voryx stood still for a full minute. That wasn't just a child. That was a message. Back on his ship that night, Voryx uploaded his first report. "Commander, Relth, I do not understand this species. They do not show fear. Even in danger, they remain calm, like they've seen worse. The children are bold. The adults are silent, but confident. Earth seems undefended, but I no longer believe it is weak. I will investigate further." He sat back in his chair and watched the Earth spin slowly below. Something about this planet was wrong. Or maybe something was very right. Humans were not afraid, not even a little, and that terrified him. The silent town. The human girl's voice echoed in Vorix's mind. You should be. He had faced warlords, beasts, and monsters, but never had a child warned him with such calm certainty. It chilled him more than any battlefield ever had. Now he traveled alone deep into Earth's countryside, searching for answers. His tiny cloaked scout pod landed near a small, quiet human town. No guards, no checkpoints, just wooden houses, dirt roads, and trees swaying in the wind. It was peaceful. Too peaceful. Vorix stepped out and scanned the area. No signs of weapons and still. The town's name was painted on a rusted sign. Welcome to Stillridge. Population, 213. Vorix disguised himself in simple clothes, old human fabric he found in the ruins. His translator shaped his voice into soft English. He entered the town on foot, acting like a traveler. Humans walked past him, smiling politely. A farmer waved. A shopkeeper nodded. No one questioned him. No one looked surprised. No one looked afraid. At the town center, a human elder sat on a bench feeding birds. Vorix sat next to him. Stranger, the elder said without turning. You're not from here, are you? Vorix paused. No, sir. I'm passing through. The elder dropped the last of the seeds and looked up at the sky. Then don't stay too long. Stillridge is quiet during the day, but at night it remembers. Remembers what? The elder stood. Just listen. That night Vorix stayed in a small inn at the edge of the town. His room had no locks, no cameras. The windows were open. The sky above was clear. He lay still, waiting for sleep. But then, he heard it. Screams. They came from the forest beyond the town. Not one voice. Dozens. Screams of pain, fear, terror. Inhuman, twisted, like something dying horribly. Vorix jumped to his feet. He activated his scanner. No life forms detected. He stepped outside. The streets were empty. No one else reacted. No lights turned on. No doors opened. The town was silent, like nothing had happened. He walked through the middle of the road, heart racing. The screams grew distant, then stopped completely. Only the wind remained. In the darkness, a small figure appeared. A girl, maybe 6 or 7 years old. The same child from the ruins. She stood under a streetlight, hugging a stuffed toy. Her eyes glowed faintly in the dim light. Did you hear them? She asked softly. Vorix nodded. Yes. What were those sounds? She didn't blink. Warnings. Warnings for what? The girl tilted her head. For people who think Earth is weak. Then she handed him the toy. It was another alien skull, handmade from cloth and buttons. Good night, she whispered. She walked away barefoot into the shadows. And again, no one stopped her. The next morning, Vorix went to the town bakery, still shaken. The baker smiled and handed him bread. You heard the forest, huh? She said cheerfully. You all knew? Vorix asked. Of course, the baker said, not looking up. Stillridge isn't special. Every town on Earth has stories like that. We just live with it. But what causes the sounds? The baker paused. Nobody knows. Some say it's ghosts. Others say it's old defense systems underground. Personally, she looked at him. I think it's memories. Earth remembers. Vorix stepped outside, heart heavy. Earth didn't need shields. It had fear, ancient, silent, and deeply planted. Later that day, he climbed a nearby hill to scan the area again. From the top, he saw something strange. Hundreds of tiny markers hidden in the grass. Graves. Not human graves. The names were alien. He walked among them. Each one had a symbol of a fallen species. Species that once tried to take Earth. Species, no longer spoken of in galactic circles. Some stones were marked with just a number. Too many to name. At the center stood one large stone with a message written in many languages. They came. They failed. They are forgotten. Vorix stared for a long time. Earth didn't raise defenses. Earth buried invaders. He returned to his ship that night and sent another report. Commander Relth, Earth's silence is not weakness. It is something older, deeper. They do not shout. They do not threaten. But something watches from their shadows. Something remembers. Still Ridge is only one town. I fear what lies beneath the others. He paused, then added one more line. Permission to dig deeper. The dead don't whisper, but Earth's silence screamed louder than any war cry. Voryx could still feel the weight of the grave markers in Stillridge. He had touched the stone with alien names, seen the girl with the skull toy, and heard screams from an empty forest. Now, he needed answers. Real ones. Not shadows, not whispers, not strange looks from smiling humans. So he returned to orbit. Back aboard his stealth ship, Voryx walked straight into the archive chamber. It was a room filled with data, millions of files gathered from across the galaxy. Battles, peace treaties, species profiles, military stats. He opened the galactic military records and searched for Earth. A loading circle spun, then flashed red. Access restricted. What? Voryx blinked. Earth was a low-tech planet. Their files should be public. Why were they locked? He tried a different archive. The Central War Archive. File removed. He checked the Zarn battle logs, the Krillon intelligence database, the Council's open war files. All said the same thing. Earth's data was gone, erased, sealed, blocked. The only thing left was a warning note from the Intergalactic Council. Earth Class 2. Developmental planet, do not engage, observational only, special status, but no explanation. Why does everyone avoid this planet? Voryx muttered. What are they hiding? He contacted his superior, Commander Relth. The old warrior's face appeared on the holoscreen. Commander, Voryx said. All files on Earth are blocked. Even old battles are gone. Why? Relth's face turned cold. Because Earth was different. That's not an answer. Relth sighed. Listen to me carefully. There are things in this galaxy we choose to forget. For peace. For survival. You mean Earth? I mean what happened when Earth was attacked, once, long ago. Voryx's eyes widened. So it was attacked? Relth leaned closer. Yes. And what they did after that shocked the Council. Then why don't we study it? Because, Relth said slowly, if young warriors like you learn what humans are truly capable of, you'll be tempted to test them, and then we all suffer again. The screen went dark. Voryx stared in silence. So it was true. Earth wasn't just dangerous, it was forbidden knowledge, but Voryx was never good at following orders. He opened his ship's secure AI assistant. Find hidden or deleted files about Earth, anything. The AI worked for hours. Then, a match, one file, buried deep in the wreckage of an old war database, corrupted, fragmented, half-deleted. It was called Project Emberfall. Voryx's heart raced. Play it. The screen flickered. A shaky recording began. It showed alien fleets entering Earth's orbit. Massive warships, firepower enough to destroy a planet. A voice spoke in panic. We outnumber them 20-1, but they're not surrendering. Another voice screamed, Retreat! Retar! The screen went black. Then, new footage started, from Earth's side. Humans. Calm. Silent. Eyes glowing in the dark. Not with technology, but with rage. They didn't scream, they smiled. And then, they vanished into the shadows. What followed wasn't a battle. It was a hunt. Aliens running, ships exploding, bodies falling. Not because of bombs or lasers, but because humans had turned every tool, every forest, every sound into a weapon. And worst of all, they didn't stop. Even when victory was clear, they kept pushing. Until no invader was left. Until the sky was silent. The last clip was blurry but chilling. A human soldier looked into the camera holding a bloodied banner. Behind him, an alien city burned. He said just 3 words. "We warned you." Vorik slammed the screen off. His breathing was heavy. His hands shook. He now understood why the galaxy feared Earth. It wasn't about weapons, or ships, or armies. It was about will. Humans had something ancient inside them. A dark fire. They could endure pain. They could adapt. And when pushed, they unleashed something no one else had. He opened a new report. Commander Relth. Earth's files were not deleted to protect them. They were deleted to protect us. Humans are not like other species. They don't need superweapons. They become the weapon. If pushed, they don't retaliate. They erase threats from history. He paused. "I'm going back down. I need to see more, before someone else makes a terrible mistake." He closed the file, and Earth, beautiful and silent, continued to spin below him. Like a sleeping lion, peaceful, until provoked. They didn't chase him with ships. They chased him with silence. Vorik had returned to Earth. Not to the cities, not to the ruins, but to the wild. This time he chose a remote forest region deep in the northern continent. No satellite signals, no road signs, no buildings. Just thick trees, cold winds, and strange animal sounds echoing through the dark woods. He wanted to understand what made humans truly dangerous, so he turned off his cloaking device. He disabled his scanners. He wanted them to see him. For 2 days, nothing happened. He walked through thick branches and muddy trails. His boots sank into wet soil. Every night, he made a fire, but no one came until the 3rd morning. He woke up to find his fire cold and his food missing, not stolen by animals, cut cleanly with a knife. His weapons were untouched, but a stone had been placed next to them. On it, a single word carved in rough English. "Run." Vorik stood slowly. They found me. His heart beat faster. He looked around but saw nothing. Trees, wind, fog. But the silence had changed. He was not alone anymore. He walked for hours. Birds flew overhead, leaves crackled behind him. But every time he turned, nothing was there. Then came the whistle. Short, sharp, artificial. He froze. It came again, to the left, then behind, then right. Someone was circling him. He drew his blaster. But suddenly it was kicked from his hand. Vorik spun around. No one there. Just his blaster on the ground, neatly placed upright as if returned. Then came laughter. Children's laughter. From the bushes, a group of 5 human teens stepped out. Not soldiers. Not trained warriors. Just kids. But they held slings, knives, wooden clubs, and confidence. The tallest boy grinned. "You're not very good at hiding." Vorik didn't speak. Another girl tossed something at his feet, a small drone, his own. Destroyed. "We spotted you yesterday," she said. "We followed your trail and now," she tapped her head, "you're caught." "You're just children," Vorik whispered. "We're hunters," the boy corrected. "Our parents trained us." "To hunt aliens?" The girl laughed. "No, to hunt everything." She pointed at his belt. "That scanner is loud. Your footprints are wide. You breathe heavy. We heard you before you entered the valley." Vorik stepped back. They didn't chase him. They surrounded him slowly. Not like prey, but like predators. "You came to test us," the boy said. "You're not the first." The youngest girl, barely 10, held up a necklace with alien teeth, strung across it. "They always run by the second night," she smiled. Vorik blinked. "You killed others?" "No," the boy replied. "But Earth did." Then, as quickly as they came, they stepped back. "We were told not to hurt you," the girl said. "Not unless you attack first." "Who told you that?" Vorik asked. She pointed to the trees. "He's watching." And then they disappeared into the forest, as if they were never there. That evening, Vorik climbed a hill overlooking the Forest. Below, he saw the children rejoin a group of adults. One man stood apart. Older, scarred, wearing a tattered military jacket. He raised a hand. Not in greeting, but in warning. Leave, it meant, while you still can. Vorik sat beside his fire that night and stared at the stars. His body trembled, not from fear, but from understanding. These weren't soldiers. These weren't elite killers. They were Earth's future, trained not with fear, but with discipline, with instinct, with ancient human memory passed from generation to generation. Earth didn't wait for invaders. Earth raised hunters. Vorik opened his recorder. Report. Day 12. I was found, tracked, and surrounded by human juveniles in less than 48 hours. Their skills rival trained assassins. Their confidence is unnatural. They laugh in the hunt. He paused. They are not dangerous because of their weapons. They are dangerous because of their minds, their unity, their silence. Even their children are predators. Earth doesn't defend itself. It plays games with its enemies, games they always win. He saved the file. But as he leaned back against the tree, he noticed something in his jacket pocket. A note. It hadn't been there before. He opened it with shaking hands. In simple handwriting. Next time we won't play. They didn't scream. They didn't beg. They just walked toward the invaders, with fire in their eyes. The attack began just before dawn. Vorik had barely returned to his observation post in the forest hills when the alert came through his comm. A small alien faction, the Kyo, Zalari raiders had landed without warning near a human village called Ashroot. It was meant to be a minor test, a foolish attempt to prove Earth wasn't so fearsome after all. Vorik's blood ran cold. He tried to send a warning. Withdraw. Now. You don't know what you've stepped into. But the Zalari commander laughed over the open channel. You've been on this mudball too long, Scout. They're farmers. They didn't even run. Vorik activated his cloaking and raced toward the village. Ashroot was small. Just 30 homes, a church, a few shops, and open fields stretching to the forest edge. No walls, no military outposts, just windmills and worn boots on doorsteps. Yet, when the Zalari ships descended, no one fled. The villagers didn't hide. They stood in the middle of the town square, shoulder to shoulder. The leader was a gray-haired woman in a dusty coat. She walked forward with a cane and faced the alien gunships without blinking. We don't want war, she said calmly. But if you bring it, we will end it. The Zalari aimed their cannons, and Earth answered. The first raider stepped forward and vanished into the ground. The second screamed, his foot caught in a bear trap hidden beneath leaves. By the time the third tried to fire, a sharpened spade flew through the air and knocked his weapon away. Vorik watched in shock as humans, not soldiers, just villagers, used tools, rope traps, smoke bombs, and decoys to dismantle the invaders one by one. A young girl swung from a rooftop and dropped a net of barbed wire on a squad. An old man shoved a wheelbarrow full of explosives into a tank's treads. Every step the raiders took led them deeper into chaos. They didn't prepare for battle, Vorik whispered. They are the battle. By the end of the hour, only 5 Zalari remained alive. They dropped their weapons, begging for mercy. The gray-haired woman walked up to them, her cane tapping softly. We warned you, she said. You're just farmers, one raider cried. She looked at him coldly. You think we forgot what you did last time? Last time? Vorik echoed under his breath. He scanned back through village records. 200 years ago, this exact town had been attacked by the Zalari's ancestors. They burned everything, only 2 children survived. Now those children were the elders of Ashroot, and they had trained everyone in silence, for the day the Zalari would return. After the survivors were taken away in silence, Vorik approached the elder woman. I'm not here to harm you, he said, decloaking. She didn't flinch. I know who you are. You've been watching. Why didn't you run? Because running means weakness, she said. And Earth remembers those who show weakness. We stand. But your people, they looked so ordinary. She leaned closer. That's the point. She handed him a sealed envelope. This is for your commanders. Voryx took it. It simply said, "You may forget Earth, but Earth never forgets you." That night, Voryx sat by a burned tree near the battlefield and recorded his next report. Day 18. Earth is not defended by armies. It is defended by memory, pain, and rage. These people remember everything. Their history is not written. In books, it is passed through scars, through stories, through soil. Every human is a seed of defiance. He looked down at the remains of an alien weapon, twisted into a farm tool by human hands. The Zalari thought Earth was weak because it had no shield. But Earth is the blade behind the smile, the fire under the ashes, the storm that waits. In stillness, he paused, then whispered, "This planet doesn't prepare for war, it prepares others to fear it." But as he turned off his recorder, he saw something strange on the hillside. A single tree, leafless, carved with names, alien names. At the base was a human message, scratched into the bark. "For every one of ours you took, we took 10 of yours. This is not revenge, this is balance." Voryx closed his eyes. Earth was not just a world. It was a warning. And most in the galaxy had wisely chosen to listen. The footage didn't start with a warning. It started with a smile. A human soldier, covered in dirt, blood on his cheek, holding a broken helmet in one hand and a camera in the other. He looked directly into the lens. "If you're watching this, it means your leaders lied to you." Voryx sat frozen. He wasn't supposed to have found this. The file was buried inside a forgotten archive from a long-dead species, an empire erased from star maps long ago. Its final recorded transmission was titled simply, "Earth, the Emberfall Protocol." Voryx had returned to his ship in low orbit, shaken from what he had seen in Ashroot. He thought he understood Earth's strength. He didn't. Now in a dark room lit only by the glowing screen, he watched as ancient truth revealed itself. The screen showed the sky, Earth's sky, filled with enemy ships. Giant dreadnoughts, shimmering, cruisers' advanced weaponry pointed downward. The invaders had numbers, technology, confidence. But they made one mistake. They thought Earth would surrender. The video cut to street cams, civilians calmly leaving buildings, locking doors, shaking hands. Children handed tools to adults. Elders prayed in silence. No one screamed. And then, the lights went out. The entire planet went dark. "What is this?" Voryx whispered. The next scene showed the alien commanders in panic. Their communications failed. Their maps glitched. Their weapons jammed. Earth had blinded them. Then came the humans emerging from shadows, from forests, from sewers. Not in formation, not with laser rifles. They fought with fury, hand to hand, street to street. A man used a steel pipe to disable an armored mech. A woman set fire to fuel tanks with a burning tire. Children threw flashbangs made from kitchen scrap. It wasn't war, it was rage. Organized rage. A new section of the footage began. This one was different. It came from a helmet cam, likely stolen by a human during the chaos. Inside a crashed alien ship, the camera showed terrified soldiers trying to reboot their systems. Then the door exploded and a human walked in alone, no armor, no gun, just a metal rod and burning eyes. The soldiers opened fire. The human didn't fall. He kept walking. One by one, the screams faded. The last part of the footage was silent. It showed a wide-angle view from a satellite above Earth. One by one, the invader ships went dark. No flames, no debris, just dead in space. Some exploded from within. Others drifted silently. Not a single human ship was seen. Voryx couldn't breathe. He finally understood why the Council had erased this from history. A small line of text appeared at the bottom of the screen. The Emberfall Protocol, never again. Voryx leaned back in his chair. The footage faded, replaced by a final message. A human man, middle-aged, calm, stared into the screen. His uniform was torn, his face bruised. He spoke slowly. We begged to be left alone. You kept pushing, so we remembered who we were. This is not a threat, it's a memory. The next ones who come will never return." He raised a hand in farewell. Then the screen cut to black. For minutes, Vorik said nothing. Then he stood, walked to the observation window and stared down at the earth below. Blue, green, peaceful, but no longer beautiful. Now he saw it clearly. It wasn't a planet. It was a trap. A calm sea with monsters beneath. He opened his recorder. Day 22. I have viewed the lost footage. The Emberfall protocol was real. Earth destroyed an empire without fleets, without mercy. They used no superweapons, just intelligence, fury, and unstoppable will. The galaxy feared them once, then chose to forget. But Earth never forgets. They live with that memory. They train their children in it. It is in their blood. He swallowed hard. We've been told Earth is a minor threat, a developing world. We were lied to. They avoid war not because they are weak, but because war with Earth ends with nothing left of their enemies. He saved the file, then opened a transmission to the Galactic Council. "Urgent report," he said. "Do not engage Earth. I repeat, do not provoke, threaten, or test this planet." He looked again at the quiet world below. "They aren't sleeping," he whispered. "They're waiting. They were never defenseless. We were just blind." The council chamber was silent. Thousands of alien leaders from every corner of the galaxy sat in a vast oval room suspended over the skies of Center Prime. Stars shimmered through the dome above, but all eyes were locked on. The single projection screen floating in the center. Vorik stood alone on the platform. No guards, no backup. Just his words, and a planet's hidden truth. He had traveled to Earth, watched their villages, survived their forests, witnessed the Emberfall protocol footage. And now he had returned to deliver the final report. Behind his back, inside a sealed black case, was the human message, the one given to him by the Elder of Ashrut. Now it was time to open it. He looked around. Some council members laughed quietly. Others watched him with cold, tired eyes. "A backwater species," one muttered. "Primitive, too emotional, always dramatic." Vorix heard them, but he knew better now. He took a deep breath and spoke. "They have no planetary shields," Vorix said. "No fleets in orbit, no superweapons on display. You call them defenseless." He opened the case. A simple crystal disc sat inside, glowing faintly. But in the shadows of peace, Earth sharpened its claws. The screen flickered to life, and Earth's final message began. The footage didn't show Earth's might. It showed its restraint. A quiet mountain village, children laughing, farmers working. Peace. Then came the voice of a human girl, calm, clear, young. "We asked to be left alone." The image shifted. Now it showed ancient battlefields, mass graves, burned forests, scorched skies, alien bodies, alien flags, all torn down. "You didn't listen." Next, underground bunkers. Weapons not activated, but prepared. Shelves of manuals, training rooms, maps marked with every empire's weakness. "You thought we were asleep. We were only watching." More images. Teens practicing survival drills. Elders teaching battlefield medicine in quiet. Homes. School children studying galactic languages and alien weak points. Some wars begin with a bang. Ours begins with a whisper. Then the screen went black. For a moment, no one in the council moved. Then the human voice returned. Now a man's voice, older, hardened. "You see a peaceful world. But Earth is not at peace. Earth remembers." "They've never forgotten," Vorix added, stepping forward. "Not the invasions, not the empires that burned their homes, not the allies who stood aside." He pointed toward the screen. "They train every generation, not for conquest, but for the day we return." The image returned, this time showing Earth's timeline. Dates, locations, species. Every single empire that attacked Earth was either gone or silent. Entire species erased from the stars. Whole fleets never returned. Planets once rich, now marked as dead zones. Those weren't wars, Vorik said. Those were warnings, and we never listened. Suddenly, the room lights dimmed. The Council's systems had been overridden. A final broadcast appeared on the screen, not from Vorik's, not from any file he brought, but from Earth itself. Was live. A single human stood in the center of the feed. He wore no armor, no weapons, just a dark coat, torn at the sleeves. His face was calm, eyes unblinking. He looked straight at the Council. To those who see this and still think we are weak, we offer this truth. We avoid war not because we fear losing, but because we know what happens when we win. He raised a hand and opened it. Inside was a small object, an alien rank insignia. He dropped it to the floor. He came with curiosity. He left with fear. The feed ended. Silence fell like a hammer. Some counselors stood. Others demanded investigation. Some shouted that it was propaganda. But a few, those old enough to remember the last time Earth was tested, sat still, pale, and silent. One leaned close to the Supreme Chancellor. They weren't bluffing, he said. They were holding back. All this time, Vorik delivered the final words of his report. Earth isn't waiting for war. They're waiting for a reason. As he stepped down from the platform, he left the black case behind. Inside it, next to the message disc, was a single item, wrapped in cloth. When the Chancellor opened it hours later, she found a toy, a hand-stitched alien skull, and a note. Tell your children we still remember. Epilogue. Back on Earth, the forests were still quiet. The children of Ashroot played in the fields. The elders drank tea under the old war banner, now faded by the sun. And high above, among the stars, ships turned away. No orders were given. No missiles were launched. Because across the galaxy, one truth had finally settled deep into the bones of every empire. Earth was never defenseless, it just chose peace. For now,